guys, it's me again. Yeah, here we go with the news. Not the news. Here we go with, with the first of today's countries. Not the news. As I'm pretty sure I finished that earlier this year when it got a little too much for me. So yeah, here we go. Starting off with the first inhabitants of Greenland, who were Inuits, as they lived in Greenland for a long period, but there were times when Greenland was uninhabited. As the first people to kind of come and live on Greenland were the Sakau people, Saqaq. He lived there from about 2500 BC to 900 BC. And from there till about 500 BC, it was uninhabited. 500 BC, the Dorset people came, as they lived in Greenland till about the 1st century AD. As the Frigid people arrived in Greenland in about the 10th century. And then the Vikings arrived in Greenland at the end of the 10th. And they were led by Erik Thorvardsson, who lived from about 950 to about 1300 AD. As he was known as Erik the Red because of his red hair. As Erik first sailed to Greenland in about 982 and he liked what he saw. As Erik the Red said that he had given the country a name Greenland, hoping it would attract settlers. At any rate, around 985, he led the first Viking settlers to Greenland, as he set out with 25, but only arrived in Greenland with about 14, as the Vikings were able to live in Greenland because at the time the climate was milder than what it is today, and the settlers were able to live by farming, as the Vikings made 2 settlements in Greenland, a western and eastern settlement. Eventually the European population of Greenland rose to about 3,000. And in 1126, Greenland gained a bishop, and in 1261, Greenland became part of what is now Norway. And in 1380, Norway was joined to Denmark and Greenland came under Danish rule, but throughout history the climate of Earth narrowly varied, and in the 10th century the Earth was relatively warm. And allowed the Vikings to settle in Greenland, but in the early 14th century the Earth kind of cooled down for the colonies in Greenland, as Viking settlements in Greenland died out in the 15th century. As the Viking life in Greenland had pretty much the same characteristics as those elsewhere, like in Scandinavia and all that. And in 1578, an Englishman named Martin Frobisher landed in Greenland. And then in 1585 to 1587, John Davis explored the eastern coast and Davis Strait and named him after him, which was named after him. And from the 17th century, European whalers visited Greenland. As Europeans returned to Greenland permanently in 1721, when the missionary Hans Egede from 1686 to 1758 went to evangelize the Inuit, and in 1728 Egede found Gothra, now known as Nuuk, as Greenland formerly came under Danish rule again in 1729. In 1888, the Norwegian named Frigid Nansen was led the first expedition across Greenland. And in 1940s, the Germans occupied Denmark afterwards. In 1941, the US established bases within Greenland. And in 1953, Greenland ceased to be a colony of Denmark and became a province, which was an integral part of the country, as the Bank of Greenland was founded in 1966. And in 1973, Greenland, along with Denmark, became part of the EU, but links with Denmark were weak. And in 1979, Greenland was granted home rule, as in 1982 they voted to leave the EU and acceded in 1982. And also in 1985, Greenland obtained a flag, as it was granted yet more autonomy within 2009. As Kalaallisut was made the first official language of Greenland instead of Danish, as today the official name of Greenland is Kalaallit Nunaat. However, the Queen of Denmark is still the head of state for Greenland, as the population is believed to be about 57,000, as the capital is Nuuk, and which has about 15,000 of the population, as most of the population of Greenland are still Inuit. As the main industry is fishing, but there is some potential for tourism and mining, as the area is rich with minerals. As during the winter, there's northern lights, and in Greenlandic, it is known as Arasarnerit, which means the ones playing football. I said that the dead ancestors are playing football with walrus skulls. I highly recommend don't play with a walrus skull, as one, it'll hurt, and two, I'm pretty sure the walrus wouldn't appreciate it. And if a kid were naughty, they would take its head and play with it. But as a ball, so we come home before it got dark during winter. As 3, I'm pretty sure it would likely hurt. Whether you're playing or whether you're just watching from the sideline. So leave it to the ancestors, I'm pretty sure they likely won't get hurt. So yeah, that's Greenland for you, and yeah, see you in a moment.